What is this? Get out of here. No, I know how to do that. No, you need to leave me unbelievable. Stop on my watch here. No, get nasty.
The NKL World Championships are brought to you by Kohl's Department Store, for the folks who self-identify as consumers, and Snickers candy bars. Hungry? Why wait? You deserve to have a candy bar whenever you want, and don't let anyone tell you any different.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final round of the National Karen League World Championships. Our hosts tonight in the studio are me, Gus Smiley Evans, former general manager of Walmart, and Linda Nelson, former Karen from Dayton, Ohio. We are joined on the field by Ted Cousins, former mall security guard from Kenosha, Washington. The Karen Championships will be acting out shortly, but before they do, let's get a quick recap of last week's semifinals. Ted?
BBQ Karen went up against Grocery Store Karen on our home turf, the Trader Joe's. Right away, it looked like someone had lit a fire under BBQ Karen, and the match heated up quickly with a shopper in the freezer aisle. BBQ Karen informed the shopper that she was taking too long to choose her meat, and she further escalated the situation by accusing her of moving slowly on purpose. She completed the play with the assertion that she has just as much right to that freezer as any American.
This was an outstanding performance. The grocery store is not in BBQ Karen's comfort zone, but she managed to play to her strengths: extreme impatience, spatial entitlement, and raw hamburger. BBQ Karen had a strong showing, but Grocery Store Karen was the favorite to win this match. Isn't that right, Ted?
Yes, and she came out swinging. After berating the cashier for refusing to honor an expired coupon, Grocery Store Karen succeeded in pulling off the elusive triple threat, summoning the manager, the security guard, and the police simultaneously.
And discount it! This was the first time a Karen has successfully completed a triple threat in competition. A marvelous performance by Grocery Store Karen. Ted, you spoke to Grocery Store Karen after the competition. Let's go to a clip of that interview.
My coupon was only expired by 1 day. All the cashier had to do was make an exception for me. My freedom to receive discounts was being threatened, so I stood up for my right to BOGO.
She really brought her K-game to the semis. Let's hope she maintains that irrational fury for the final. Next up, Parking Lot Karen faced off against Karen on Wheels in a Target parking lot. Now this seemed like a pretty even matchup. Yes, both of these Karens have spent a lot of time verbally assaulting people in front of megastores.
And first up, we have Parking Lot Karen, who left carts scattered around the lot instead of returning them to the corral. This caused a lot of congestion and irritation for drivers.
Woohoo! Sound like Parking Lot Karen was asking for a confrontation on this one. What was going on here, Linda? Parking Lot Karen pulled the classic reverse, which is when a Karen acts in a way that she would normally admonish someone else for. Asking a Karen to take responsibility for her actions provokes an abundance of explosive rage that is fueled by self-loathing. Ted, what did we see from Karen on Wheels in this round?
Karen on Wheels cruised the parking lot in her SUV, stopping to tell people who were sitting in their cars that if they are not customers, it is illegal to be in the lot. She followed up the play by threatening to call the tow truck.
Very nice transition here. Her escalation from dubious information to hostile threat was seamless.
She also made the claim that she had been driving around for an hour and still couldn't find a spot.
Nice exaggeration from Karen on Wheels, putting a little mayo on it. Highly skilled Karens exaggerate wisely, not wildly. Extreme exaggeration can undermine Karen's position and cause a challenger to question Karen's claim. In this case, there were plenty of spaces available, and therefore nobody was buying the steaming load of bull that she was serving. And that's a no receipt, no return for Karen on Wheels. Now, what did we see from Parking Lot Karen?
Parking lot Karen, on the other hand, absolutely delivered. She held her ground like a champ when a driver asked if she could move her cart. Parking lot Karen pointed out that it isn't her job to move the carts, and nobody can make her do it because the customer is always right.
Terrific performance by Parking Lot Karen. Let's go to the replay. Here you can see the spittle spraying from her mouth as she asserts her rights. Here is the flailing of the arms, indicating lack of control, and her eye work here is tremendous. Her gaze does not fixate, avoiding any possibility of genuine human connection. She's going to be a formidable force going into the final. Incredible. Folks, we are now only minutes away from the start of the championship, so why don't we take an inside look at our finalists? Ted?
First up, we have grocery store Karen, a cool mom of 3 and the wife of one unquestionably heterosexual male. The family spends their summers together at the lake, where grocery store Karen can soak in the sun, swim in the cool, gentle waters, and harass the boaters of her choosing.
Sounds like she's out there creating special moments that her family will remember for a lifetime.
Next up, we have Parking Lot Karen. She's a busy woman who thrives in the energy of the big city, but also strives to maintain her work-life balance. She spends every morning at the park walking her 2 adorable dogs, soaking in the serenity of nature, and waking up the people sleeping on benches to let them know that she will not hesitate to call the police if they do not vacate the premises immediately.
We appreciate her keeping our park safe for everyone. Thanks, Ted, for introducing us to our players. I must admit I was not expecting their backgrounds to be so different. As a former Karen, I can tell you that with mindless training, an indignant temperament, and a massive sense of entitlement, every person has what it takes to be a Karen. I know you had a colorful career as a Karen back in the day, Linda. Oh, absolutely. I played predominantly as a drive-thru Karen. It was one of the more technically challenging Karens because all of my opponents could close their window. But I can't take all of the credit. At the time, my husband was a lawyer, so my roster was stacked with one hell of a defensive line. I won 3 titles with my team before I had to hang up the old rhinestone jean jacket. Now, what prompted such a decorated Karen to retire from the game? Once video cameras got into everyone's hands, it became much harder to play with impunity and my word against theirs. So when a surveillance camera caught me shouting obscenities at a baby and smashing burgers onto a windshield, I was sentenced to mental health counseling. The video footage made it impossible for me to get out of that one. I am still a woman, after all. The final nail in the coffin of my Karen career was when the therapy forced me to face my fear and entitlement head on. After I worked through those issues, I was no longer fit to compete as a Karen. So kinda like a torn ACL. Very similar in that it impaired my ability to compete. Once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. It was devastating. Well, your emotional unintelligence was a thing of legend. Okay, let's talk predictions. Linda, who's your favorite to win? It's hard to deny the momentum of grocery store Karen right now. She's just coming off of the triple threat and an armload of BOGO, so she's got to be feeling confident going into the final.
Parking Lot Karen is undoubtedly the underdog here, but Karens have a tendency to become aggressive when second-guessed. If anyone can pull a W out of nowhere, it's a Karen contested. Well, there can only be one winner, and I'm getting word now that the match is about to begin. Let's go to Ted. I'm here on the field, and I gotta say, it's a minefield of potential meltdowns. Directly behind me is a playground, to my left is a residential area, and to my right on the corner is a Starbucks. There are plenty of opportunities here for our players to Karen like it's 1999.
And there's the whistle.
Let's get ready to grumble! And the Karens are off. Grocery store Karen is already hustling, and she is headed straight towards a child who is posting a sign on a light pole.
All signs point to grocery store Karen going postal.
Grocery store Karen has moved into position. The child is clearly confused about why this strange woman is yelling at him.
Notice her form here. Her posture is threatening, and because this is a child, her size is even more imposing. She's put herself in an incredible position to inflict trauma on a juvenile. And the judges have issued a point here for the conversion. Grocery store Karen has successfully turned a harmless situation into a combative one. I hope she's able to maintain this level of mental instability.
Grocery store Karen is now harshly informing the child that this is public property and it is illegal to vandalize a light pole.
That'll be a point there for rule referencing.
This is a particularly skillful use of rule recitation. Children are mostly unaware of rules, especially obscure ones, so it tends to be a sound strategy for misleading a minor. Grocery store Karen is now asking the child if his parents know that he is out in the streets wasting her tax dollars. We have no response from the child as of yet.
Ted, let's go over to Parking Lot Karen while this situation develops.
Parking lot Karen has engaged a man who is washing his car in his driveway. I'm curious to see what parking lot Karen will take issue with here. A man is certainly allowed to wash his car in his own driveway. She could be wasting her time with this one. And the complaint is coming in now. Parking lot Karen is taking issue with the bubbles, of all things. She is telling the man that a slippery street is dangerous for her because she has an inflamed disc in her back and she must stay upright for her own health. She is following up the claim by letting the man know that she has a note from her doctor. Wow, nobody saw that one coming. Incredible creativity here with this confrontation. This is a perfect example of an unnecessary, asinine concern that truly captures the spirit of the game.
I'm getting word from the judges that Parking Lot Karen's gonna receive a point for fabricating an offense. Her mind is going.
Just a moment, I'm seeing that we have pushback from the challenger. The man is suggesting to Parking Lot Karen that maybe the bubbles are cleaning the street. She'll need to recover from this flagrant statement of reason. Parking Lot Karen responded by screaming, "The hell they are!" Beautiful denial from Parking Lot Karen. She will receive a point for blocking an attempt at meaningful conflict resolution.
I did not think she would be able to field that onslaught of rationale, but she sure did pull it out in the end. Price is as listed!
The man has now turned the hose on Parking Lot Karen, and she is limping away down the street. She has let him know that he will be hearing from her lawyer. I sincerely hope she got away in time. Karens don't do well when they are cooled down.
While Parking Lot Karen hunts down her next challenger, let's check in with Grocery Store Karen.
It's not looking good over here. The child is not giving Grocery Store Karen anything to work with. This play is going nowhere fast. When confronting children, a Karen's ultimate goal is to attract an adult to the scene. Escalation is not looking very likely here.
She just won't go away!
And here it is. Grocery Store Karen is now moving to complete the play. She has torn down the sign and is telling the child that this is not over by a long shot and that she will be returning to speak to his parents.
While we wait to see who Grocery Store Karen tears into next, it looks like Parking Lot Karen has wasted no time getting into another altercation.
That is correct. Parking Lot Karen is now in a heated argument, accusing a woman of leaving trash in the street. The woman is confused and now annoyed as she explains to Parking Lot Karen that she needs to leave her trash on the street so that it can be collected.
The argument seems weak here. In fact, I don't think I even fully understand her complaint.
Strong-performing Karens very rarely need to employ logic into any of their plays. This flat-out ridiculous, downright confusing claim is exactly what makes her a championship-level Karen. Parking Lot Karen refuses to listen to the woman and will only repeat that it is illegal to dump trash in a residential area. The woman is insisting that Parking Lot Karen must have rocks in her head.
I'm waiting for the ruling from the judges. Parking Lot Karen will receive 1 point for rule misapplication and another point for nonsensical argument that is impossible to dispute. Turn down the music. Parking Lot Karen has a condition.
We have an exciting development on the field. Grocery Store Karen is now in forward progress toward the Starbucks.
This competition is flying off the handle faster than a Christmas spirit Karen at a Black Friday sale.
Starbucks is notorious for being a high-risk, high-reward environment for Karens.
Well, if she wants that triple threat again, she's got to get herself into a retail setting where a manager can be spoken to.
It's clear that Grocery Store Karen is extremely capable in the food and beverage domain, but a Starbucks is no grocery store. If she blows the lid off the way she normally does, she could be thrown out faster than scientific evidence. Grocery Store Karen has entered the Starbucks and has ordered a triple mocha frappuccino with whipped cream and sprinkles. There appears to be some agitation from grocery store Karen, and there it is, she has a problem with the price. She is informing the cashier that she has been ordering this drink for years, and the price has never changed. The cashier is explaining to grocery store Karen that it is only a 20-cent difference, and that prices rise from time to time, and that she doesn't personally have any control over how much things cost.
This is clearly not the cashier's first encounter with a Karen. She deployed 3 valid counter-arguments with expert precision. This might be the most fearsome challenger the grocery store Karen has come up against so far in this final.
The cashier's common-sense response has sent grocery store Karen flying into a rage. She is now shouting at the cashier for being rude.
That's going to be a point for yelling at a person who doesn't make the rules. She needs to be extremely careful at this volume. Overly loud vocalizations have a tendency to attract nearby millennials.
Grocery store Karen is now claiming that she never wanted that lousy foreign coffee in the first place. The cashier is showing no sign of fatigue and is returning the play by asking, why did she come into a coffee shop if she doesn't want coffee? Grocery store Karen is fumbling the response.
Grocery store Karen has seriously underestimated how much she needed that coffee.
And here it is. Grocery store Karen has asked to speak to the manager. However, it looks like she is getting the barista instead. Grocery store Karen is not happy about this substitution and has responded by dramatically demanding a refund.
Hold on, there's a review on the play. I'm receiving confirmation that no money was ever exchanged. The judges ruled the grocery store Karen is offside. Offside offenses are usually a signal that a Karen is heading into a tailspin. Grocery store Karen is losing her grip on reality faster than a boomer with a Facebook account.
The millennials have now surrounded grocery store Karen. They are filming videos and posting them on social media. And grocery store Karen is attempting to escalate the play. She is grabbing snacks from the counter and chucking them at the millennials.
And that right there is going to be another point for inventory engagement. This is not looking good for grocery store Karen. She needs to end this play as soon as possible. At this point, she is well on her way to becoming a search term. And I'm getting word now from the judges. Folks, the match is over. Grocery store Karen has gone viral. Failing to speak to the manager before going viral is immediate disqualification from this competition. Pop a bottle of White Zen. It's Parking Lot Karen for the win. We're proud to announce that Parking Lot Karen is the new world champion of the NKL. Stunning performances from both of these world-class pain-in-the-ass Karens. I'm still cringing just thinking about it.
There's no doubt about that. And I'm getting an update that law enforcement has arrived on the field.
And the squeaky Karen gets the police.
The officers will be escorting grocery store Karen downtown for a milkshake to cool her off a bit. In cases like this, they prefer to avoid jail time, as she has the whole half of her life ahead of her.
Well, we're all glad to know the grocery store Karen will be back up and running that zigzag pattern in no time. Say, Ted, how has Parking Lot Karen reacted to her win?
It seems that Parking Lot Karen was rushed to the hospital only moments ago. It looks like rabies.
Oh. Well, that would explain the spittle.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this presentation of the NKL. And remember, with the right training, temperament, and entitlement, maybe you could be the next National Karen League World Champion!